Hey everybody, it's Friday, I think, 12th of March, I believe. I'm still Kevin Murcko. This is CoinMetro, and this is something we like to call, not that we coined the phrase or anything, pun intended, but AMA, ask me anything. That means you ask me something, whatever it is, I'll try to answer it. I'm usually pretty good. I usually get 90 some odd percentile, I think. Been stumped once or twice over the years. So yeah, you ask me a question, I'm gonna answer it. You want to know more about CoinMetro? Ask. You want to know more about crypto? Ask. You want to know what my favorite color is or what day I like to picnic under the sun? You can ask that too. Up to you. This is your 30 minutes or an hour. Usually we go to an hour. Sometimes it's 30 minutes. Oliver getting in first. I think that's Oliver's first gold medal in anything. So congratulations. Bjorn saying he won. We'll see. I think Oliver clearly won. He might be disqualified though, since he has a little bit of a advantage considering he can see me setting up. So Bjorn popping it off with jet fuel, usually a question biz news. I guess you mean biz dev news if that's a jet fuel question. Lots of business news actually, tons. There's so much so that I can't really share it all in this episode. And so all I can say is that between now and the end of the month into early April, you're going to see lots more coming out of CoinMetro in terms of press releases, news, and releases. Lots of stuff going on. If somebody asks me a real specific question, I may give a bit of detail, but there's definitely lots of news. Hey, Harold, how are you? When big news? Tell us more about that German Challenger Bank already. Yep, not much to say there, actually. Not much to say there. Still waiting on them to get back to us on a few points. So yeah, not much to tell you there. That's probably not the biggest news, though, to be honest. There's lots of news that's been culminating over the past couple of weeks and will culminate to the end of the month. And we'll be releasing, I don't know, man, 3, 4, maybe even 5 press releases on different aspects of the business. As well as some new releases. There's some new products that are now being fine-tuned and will be going to development, and including new reskins on different pieces of the ecosystem that look really cool. New products coming, products people have been waiting for. Lots of new stuff happening. Lots of old stuff being refurbished as well. What have linked deposits look like since staking started? Good question. I haven't paid so much attention. I know I can tell you after quant, we got a massive boost to quant deposits in the realm of like 500,000 quant. In terms of Link, we've definitely seen a pickup in deposits, that's for sure. Also seen a pickup in trading activity on Link, which is good. But I don't know off the top of my head, to be honest, but definitely it's a multiplier of what we had before and a 2-digit multiplier at a minimum. Did you get the EMI license? Hey, Jet Fuel. So EMI agent license approved by the Bank of Lithuania, passported to Estonia, approved by the Estonian FSA as a passported license, now official on the Bank of Lithuania website. You guys can go to the Bank of Lithuania website, do some searching where you can search licenses, search for CoinMetro, Digital Fiat, our sister company, you'll find us there. So yeah, that's said and done. Now the process is to passport that into the rest of the EU, with the exception of Malta, Germany, and Austria for the time being. That'll take about 2 to 3 months to get that full passporting done, but that's going to be the vehicle by which we start to issue debit cards and IBAN accounts. The good thing is that those things can happen in parallel. So also been talking with the banking as a service provider to start getting that application process moving so that it's ready to go, ready to sign off on and submit as soon as the passporting starts to come into reality. Once we see the first few countries approve the passporting outside of Estonia, then we can go ahead and submit and move on from there. But that means, 3 months basically until we see debit cards and IBAN accounts, but it means we will see debit cards and IBAN accounts. Also should mean over the course of the next 3 to 12 months, we're gonna probably see a reduction in costs related to credit card deposits and potentially more and more fiat on and off ramps, both local, which is great, and regional, because that EMI license is gonna allow us to approach providers that otherwise don't deal directly with crypto merchants. So fantastic. So it actually is it's a pretty big deal. It's definitely one of those press releases that's going to be banged out before the end of the month or right around the end of the month. So have a look out for that. We'll give more information on what that means for our company, what that means for the group of companies in general. But it's all good. It's good news all around. And it should mean over time, not only new products and services, but also better pricing and better pricing. All right, we should be back. That was cool. Not sure what happened there, guys. Technical difficulties. Too many people trying to watch the stream, man. Let me know. Give me a quick mic check. You guys, mic check, video check. I am still alive. Jack says yes. Not sure what in context that yes is. Anybody else want to just tell me that it's all good? Literally those words, and then I can move on. I think we're good, though. We seem to be good, maybe. Thumbs up, please, guys. Okay, well, nobody wants to tell me I'm all good. All good. Okay, cool. So let's get back to this thing. Can you please ask Oliver to stop teasing us every evening? Just drop the news now. Come on, guys. We got to have a little fun every once in a while. You know, we're the most transparent company in crypto. I would say just fintech, finance in general. But we have so much stuff that's kind of bubbling over. That we really want to fine tune the delivery. So I'm sure Oliver is going to throw out a few more tidbits here and there. You might get a few tidbits from me if you listen real closely to today's AMA. But news will drop, and there's a lot of news to drop. So we need some time to drop it all. Basically, you can't drop all bombs at once. What's the fun in that? You know, one bomb at a time. When XCM staking, end of the month. That's our target. It's looking good. Do you have any news on next listings on CoinMetro? When and which ones? We are currently working on a new version of the markets page. Well, actually, it's now its own page, but a new version of the markets page as well. But also a new page where you guys can vote for what you want to see listed. Plan will be something along the lines of pushing out polls onto social media and Telegram, collecting a short list, putting that short list onto the markets page in every 30 days. And this way, every 30 days, you guys vote. Top of that vote gets looked at. As long as it passes muster, it gets listed. So we do have a short list, a long list, a medium list, a pretty short, a medium short list, a medium long list, a short long list, and a short medium list that we've been compiling for quite some time. At the end of the day, at some point, that list will be made public right around the time that that new page gets released. So you guys can start voting and pick what do you want to see next. There will more than likely be some listings in the interim. And right now we are in talks with a few companies. And as you know, here at CoinMetro, we don't just like to list things just to charge a listing fee, which we don't charge. We also don't like to list things just to list them or then to come back and say, hey guys, we listed you. you're welcome. Now it's $1 million a month for market making, or we're going to delist you. Nor do we like to simply list something, buy a bunch of it ourselves, and then dump on all our clients. I'm not saying the rest of crypto does that, but I'm saying the rest of crypto does that. So we don't like to do that here. We think that's ridiculous, and we don't see a future in the crypto markets if that continues to happen. So what we like to do is list things that we can work with, that we can help move crypto forward, help bring that future of finance to everybody, collaborate, create new products, help them with different aspects of their business. They help us with different aspects of their business. We get into their community, they get into ours. We like to do a little bit more of a holistic listing process than most, if not all. And so it does take time, and it's not just about looking at documents or waiting for a BTC or an ETH transaction to clear on chain and press a button. There's a lot more involved. But having said that, stay tuned to Telegram. You will get information in Telegram about what we're going to list next. It will be dropped there at some point. Just keep on listening and keep on asking, and eventually you're going to get the information you want. Have you looked into listing iExec, RLC, and RSR? No, I don't think so. Not sure what those are, to be honest. One might be the reserve. Is that reserve? Reserve maybe? Guys, I try to stay up to date with all the tickers and everything else, but to be fair, I don't have time to. So I tend to kind of glean as much information as I can from lots of different sources. So a little bit of context is always good. Give us a hint on the news coming this month. There's going to be news about a variety of topics. There'll be PR about licensing. There will be some PR about fundraising. There will be some PR about product. There will be some PR about partnerships, more than one. So that gives you a real high level idea of what's coming, not necessarily exactly what's coming, but there's a lot coming, I guess is what I'm trying to say. What percentage will ICO tiers get on staking? Don't know yet. Look, the point is, guys, we could tell you you're going to get 20. We could do a Binance and say 25% APY or whatever horse shit number they threw out for BNB. You have to realize that there's no way that they're actually making that much money on that staked BNB. They're not loaning it out for 50%, that's for sure. So at the end of the day, that's coming out of their treasury, right? That's great for some marketing short term, but it's not stable and it's not a long-term vision. So for us, for CoinMetro, we know that initially when we put XCM out there for staking, it's coming from treasury. So we need to support it for 3 to 9 months, roughly in that area, from treasury. We know that. We also know that we need to do a lot with that treasury. So we can't just give it out to staking, because giving out to staking could potentially mean that it just gets sold back into the market. That's not necessarily what we want. That's not what any of you would want either if you're staking, to be honest. So we need to make sure that we do this right. That means that we need to find a level that makes sense on all fronts. And then the goal is to raise that percentage over time, not lower it, right? Everybody else's goal, now maybe not their goal, but everybody else's MO in staking is this. Let's hit them with a big, huge rate, because we don't think they're smart enough to ask questions about how it can be that large. So let's just smack them in the face with a 30%, 25%, 18%, whatever. That is absolutely impossible to maintain over time, because eventually the demand for the yield will outpace the supply of the yield, meaning that there won't be enough people actually creating revenue using that staked asset to pay the APY. It's impossible. It is not sustainable, but they don't care, because what they want you to see is that 30%, pump all your assets in, then they'll lock you into a year or 2 years or whatever it is. They'll get you to use their shitty product. And then what they do is one day they come back and go, oh yeah, by the way, that APY, it's 0.8% now, have at it. Sorry. Oh, by the way, you're locked in for 2 years, so you can't get out. Or maybe you can't get out with a hefty penalty. Welcome to finance. We don't want to do that either. What we want to do is give you a stable amount, that makes sense, that rewards you for holding or hodling, because that's what staking's all about. But also that we know that when we put it into that self-sustaining, let's say new vision moving forward, that we can actually pay more interest than we offer initially. So we don't know that percentage yet. We're working on it. We will have that percentage shortly, because we do have a plan to get this thing released pretty soon. So we will release it. Don't have the numbers yet, but understand that the goal is to get it higher over time, not lower. Hello, after KDA news on CoinMetro, I bought a sizable stack. What are your thoughts on the future of KDA? Thoughts on current price? Look, there is a market need for what KDA is providing and trying to provide and plans to provide in the future. There's a market need. KDA is not the only one trying to provide it. KDA has a team that I think is capable. Absolutely. They have experience that makes them capable, and they're good guys and girls, and they're trying to do the right thing. And I think that's going to bode well for them over time. Like every team, they're not exceptional at everything. I think they're exceptional at building product. I think they're exceptional at understanding how that product interweaves a regulation. I think they're awesome at understanding that there's a need. I think they're awesome at connecting that need to their product. They, like we were in the beginning, aren't the best at connecting the hype cycle market to their asset. But that will come with time. At some point, everybody realizes that that's important. I mean, even quant is starting to realize that's important. And that took a while. So, once they realize the importance of that, there's lots of upside potential. Downside potential, I would say, is pretty minimal. Upside potential is huge. So I think it's a good long-term play. Looking at price when you're talking about illiquid assets on a pretty much unregulated and low liquidity market, which is crypto in general, is kind of nonsense. Looking at charts, absolutely nonsense. Word to the wise. Now, I'm a chartist. I could do a show every day and knock out 55 chart patterns on it. To be fair, what I could do, I could show you a Bitcoin chart or an XCM chart or whatever. I could make it bullish or I could make it bearish with a stroke of a pen. And they would both be legitimate in terms of whatever type of technical analysis you think you know how to do. Technical analysis in markets in general is bullshit. But in this type of market is another worldly bullshit. So all technical analysis is meant to do is help you read a chart. If you can read a chart, a naked chart, you don't need technical analysis. Just look at the chart and go, this is a good buying opportunity, or this is not a good buying opportunity, etc. So I think what current price tells me is that it's probably undervalued, even in its current, even where they currently are in terms of their business and etc. And tells me that if out of the 10 or 15 things they're trying to do, they knock one of them out of the park. So think of it as I don't really watch baseball, but baseball when I was a kid, especially when I got into math and statistics and all this shit, it's one of the most, for me, was kind of one of the most super interesting things to look at. Because if you're a baseball player and you hit 300 average, that means like one in every third at bat you make a hit, you're in the Hall of Fame. There's not many other things in life where you can be 30% accurate, except for maybe managing a hedge fund. You're 30% accurate on a hedge fund, man. You are knocking it out of the park. But in most life, man, if you fail 70% of the time, you fail. I mean, that's it. Most people give up for the most part. That's probably why they end up failing. But when it comes to, I would say, the probabilities here, I think in terms of statistics probabilities, there's only really one way it can go. So anyway, long story short, I think it's I think it's a decent long-term play. Having said that, any investment you do, don't put money you need tomorrow to pay your bills. Make sure you know that money can be gone tomorrow. And it's not just so that you can lose that money, because obviously nobody's going to invest to lose money. That's not called an investment. That's called a gamble. And even then, nobody gambles to lose money, even though if that's what happens 99% of the time. What you need to look at is that it's going to be volatile. It can go to 10 cents tomorrow, go to 15 cents tomorrow, it can go to 3 euros tomorrow. Do you have the wherewithal? Are your hands strong enough? You got those diamond hands that isn't going to, decide to sell as soon as the thing falls 10%. And then when it pops 50% afterward, you buy in at the top, then it falls another 30%. You sell for a loss again, buy again at the next top. Because that's what most people do. Avoid buying at tops. Once you're in, you're in. Settle down, stop looking at charts. Stop paying attention to people looking at charts. Sit back, enjoy the ride. Is there an active marketing campaign at the moment, or are you still waiting on automation? So we are working through automation. Right now, we're in the process of getting Facebook blue ribboned or whatever. Like we're a prize cow at the country fair or something, county fair. So we're going through that process. The first part of that is to become kind of like a verified business on Facebook on their marketing side, which I think we've done, certified or whatever. Next part after that is we go to the second level certification, and then we get the approval to actually do crypto ads. Because up to now, Facebook ads have been like, I don't know, kind of like, you know the guy that in all the old movies. I don't know how old everybody is here, but you watch like an old movie and the guy's got a trench coat and he's like in New York City and he comes up to you and opens it up. He's got a bunch of fake Rolexes in there, and the cops come, he closes his trench coat and runs away. That's pretty much what Facebook advertising has been for crypto. It's like, come learn about alternative investment. Shh, come here, crypto, bro. And that's a bit fucking ridiculous, because we like to say, we're the best crypto exchange. Come buy crypto at the best crypto exchange. But up to this point, we haven't been able to say it. So we're this close to being able to say it. That's going to change a lot for us in terms of marketing. In Google, we've also been going after some form of certification. Thus, we had to pause ads. So right now, we've had to pause ads on two of our best performing platforms, which is Facebook and Google. We expect that to last. It's already been about a week, 10 days. We expect it to last another week to 10 days, and then we should be off to the races, and we'll be able to do things we can't do now. And the things we're already doing were proven to be quite successful. They increased the amount of clients that we saw, even with small budgets, quite substantially, and we were lowering our cost per acquisition. So lots of good news, but yeah, we're on a slight pause for about a week or two here. Any thoughts on IQ protocol? I'm actually going to try to get up with the Parsec boys. I think they're all still boys. I don't think they have any girls over there. Something wrong. We need some Parsec girls, man. Shit. I got to bring that up at the meeting. Anyway, we're supposed to have a meeting this weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Not sure when. Might play a bit of poker with the Parsec guys. I'm kind of worried that their antes are going to be like 20 million now, and I'm not going to be able to buy in. But we'll see. So yeah, I'm going to meet up with the Parsec guys. We're gonna have a discussion. I will definitely bring this up. We want to bring IQ protocol onto CoinMetro as the only centralized exchange that offers it. I'm going to figure out how to do that. I already had conversations with them on multiple occasions about doing that. We just haven't got to the point where we actually had a conversation about how we're going to do it. So hopefully we'll have it this weekend. We'll see. When next bond offering? Good question. I believe the next bond offering is going to happen before the end of the month. And it's going to be a cool one. Oliver knows a lot about it. You can ask Oliver about it. Maybe he'll spill a bean or two. But I don't think he will, though. But you can ask. Maybe you're in that little small circle that already knows what it's going to be. But yeah, I think towards the end of the month, it's cool. It's a cool one. It's kind of, I would say, traditional meets crypto making the traditional world better, which generally doesn't really happen. Crypto makes the traditional world interesting in many ways. And maybe, I would say interesting is a good word. In most cases, crypto hasn't yet found out how to make the world a better place, except for some small use cases here or there. We're going to get there, though, guys. We're going to get to the point where crypto is going to better the world. However, I would say this one actually does better this particular industry. So anyway, it's an industry everybody touches every day because you have no choice. So should be interesting. Happy to see Kevin in the community here. Have a great AMA. Everyone enjoy your weekend. Thank you, Bjorn. Appreciate that. You've been unusually quiet on Telegram past 10 days. Is something good cooking? Lots of stuff's cooking. I've been on the operational side quite extensively, mainly in finance as we build out our finance team. Everybody, I think, already knows because I mentioned it. Our CFO departed us. It sounds overly symbolic. So our CFO left, and the last day of February was his last day. And so I've been taking over most of that role, kind of streamlining finance, stopping. If you guys noticed, who out there wants to raise a hand and say if crypto withdrawals have been smoother? Hell yeah, they've been smoother. Who wants to raise a hand that there hasn't been, cold wallet delays or anything like that? Hell yeah, it's been smoother. Well, there you go. So I've been working on those things. And there's a few other things. Liquidity, a little better, guys, a little better. Yeah, working on that as well. So I've been dug into finance. So trying to do my CEO role plus my operational role has left me with, zero bandwidth. So I still read Telegram. I just try not to jump in unless it's absolutely necessary. But I'm still there, guys. You can tag me and I'll come. But that's going to change. We have 2 new back office candidates coming in that just accepted our offers, which is great. They'll be in here I think by the end of the month, if not early next month. A few other candidates, a couple pending things hanging around as well to see if they join, and I think they will. Kev, how did you meet your wife? Nice question. AMA, ask me anything. How did I meet my wife? Well, my wife and I met in Mexico at a bar, actually. We were at a bar. Actually, she talked to a friend of mine, and this is a terrible story, but I'm going to say it anyway. So A really good friend of mine at the time. We haven't really spoken all that much. I just saw him for the first time in about 12 years, just recently. But anyway, she was talking to this friend of mine, and he like went to the bathroom, and she was like, "So, what do you think? Should I keep talking to your friend?" And I was like, "No." Might have been because I had a few drinks in me. I don't know, but I was just really brutally honest. I was like, "No, you shouldn't. But you could talk to me if you like." Anyway. Not my best moment in the friendship light, but anyway, point is that that's how we met. We didn't actually, nothing happened at that point, but months later, we kind of ran into each other again. I believe in a mall, if I'm not mistaken. And one thing led to another, some lunch, some dinner, and 3 kids. And and yeah, that's the story basically. Nice, congrats on the EMI. Appreciate that, Jet Fuel. Thank you very much. What is up with quant staking? Doesn't seem to work. So quant staking officially ended 2 days ago. We had a budget of 50,000 euro. We smashed that budget. I think we spent about 88,000 euro in XCM. Sorry, not Corona. Obviously not Corona. And yeah, so it's done for now. However, just like with all other staking, we are looking for the way that we're going to be able to bring quant staking back, but paying you in quant, and it's coming. There's going to be more news about that. You're going to see more news about that when XCM staking launches. We're going to give more details about what liquidity pools and all kinds of cool things happening. So stay tuned. I think we're still one of the best places, if not the best place to hold your quant, to be quite honest. We definitely have better liquidity than anyone else. No one can touch our quant liquidity right now. No one, not IDEX, not Uniswap. We have absolutely the best quant liquidity. We have absolutely the best on and off ramps. No one else can really support those fiat on and off ramps. We have a liquidity provider behind that quant that is willing to push it even higher. That liquidity provider is actually going to be talking to Gilbert over the next couple of days. Just hook that up. They want to be able to help them get even more liquidity. So look, we're in it to win it with quant. Like I said, when we list something so we can work with them. We don't try to gobble up everything ourselves or just generally do things that, don't work for the community or the token or the coin itself. So yeah, lots of good things to come. But that current quant staking promotion, we went 40% overboard on what we offered. Hey, Brian, nice to see you. It's been a while. Hey, Jack, yeah. Oh, these guys, sorry. The fake CoinMetro. Seriously, like, Facebook, man, come on, like the fake CoinMetro. How many fake CoinMetros do you need to figure out that you need to give the real one a blue badge? Is there a ratio? Because I think like 7,000 to 1 right now is probably a decent ratio where a light bulb should click off. Hey, Kevin, bit off topic, but I was wondering if you know or can tell us the origin of your name, Murcko. I'm curious. Sure. Actually did some research on this when I was a kid. So my grandfather, who was from Czechoslovakia originally, came over with his 3 brothers back in to the US, back in 1914, 15, something like that. Murkovic was the actual name. They got to Ellis Island, and in Ellis Island, whoever wrote it down said, what? Okay, Murcko, and that's it. That's the origin of the name, but it's Czech, Czech by origin. Grandfather on my father's side. Ocean Euro, coming. Hey, Jens, nice to see you. Asset tokenization. We want to tokenize our assets. Which chain? Hey, Jack. Yeah, I got to get back to you on those. I think those emails on those. I just haven't had the time, but definitely we need to sit down. I'm going to try to get back to you. Maybe we can schedule a time next week or the week after. We can definitely sit down and talk about it. I would say Ethereum's still the winner in many aspects, but you might want to think about multi-chain. Get ready for token swaps. Cadena might not be a bad option. Cadena's coming out with Cadena Swap. They can wrap assets. You can make an Ether. You can even make an Ether token just to take that liquidity and then wrap it and put it on Cadena Swap. And then we can support it with Treasury. Anyway, there's lots of options out there, so we can definitely discuss. But that's some food for thought for you. Do you hold altcoins beside XCM, and would you be able to share your views on them? I absolutely do. On our platform, I have KDA. I own some KDA, and I own some Parsec. Yeah, that doesn't mean the ones I don't own, I don't think you should own, or that they're not a good buy. Just haven't put those yet into my own personal portfolio. But I do hold, on our platform. What's available on our platform and for altcoins, I have Cadena and Parsec. I do, I try to stay away from Uniswap. I try to stay away from IDEX. I absolutely do not open accounts on, KuCoin or whatever other random nonsense. I don't know what's going to happen to these guys' exchange. Never had an account on Binance in my life. Never will. So, I guess that limits me to some extent to what I can put in my portfolio, but my portfolio is doing all right. So I'm not too upset about it. Frozen stream. Yep. Definitely had a frozen stream. Not anymore though, hopefully. I did front run my friend. Yeah. I front ran him right out of the market. But I think I did the right thing. I think if you ask him now, he would say I did the right thing as well. So, sometimes right decisions at the time don't seem really brutal, but it was the right decision. What's your minimum sell price for your XCM stack? That's a good question. In all honesty, I don't know. I don't necessarily, look to sell XCM at any price point. But as a smart investor, at some point, that XCM stack becomes a very large portion of my personal wealth. So with that in mind, at some point, I'm going to sell some small percentage, right? Whether that be 5% or something along those lines, maybe less. That price point probably falls somewhere between, I don't know, €2 and €3, where a very small section of my portfolio to offload. But for the rest of it, I don't think there's a need to sell it. And I wouldn't really look to sell it. So, I don't have the cheapest lifestyle, but I never had, and that before CoinMetro and after, my lifestyle's not going to change much. So, I do have costs that I need to bear. So, everybody has, the liquidity they need. You have to manage your own liquidity. Having said that, I don't need, once we are in that €2 to €3 range, I'm fine with a 5% sale with the other portfolio that I have and the other things that I've invested in and stuff I own. So I'm okay, and I wouldn't look to sell more. And I don't know if that price point is going to remain legitimate, to be honest, because if we get there quicker than, let's say, I might imagine in my head, then that price point may change. It really depends. Also depends on liquidity. I'm not dumping into our own book. I'm not going to dump into the book to hurt all my investors and everybody that's been hodling since, when we hit lows. That's not going to happen either. So it's kind of a dynamic answer, I guess. It's a dynamic answer. Yeah, I'm always here to make sure the AMA doesn't get too serious by asking some more casual questions. Appreciate that. Those questions are always cool to get sometimes. Quant stop staking for now. Is Chainlink going to stop as well? Chainlink still has a budget. So I think the budget right now on Chainlink is €25,000. We may choose to extend it after €25,000. We'll see. It really depends on what those guys do when they bring in their quant. If they're trading and they're bringing revenue and they're in our community and they're saying cool shit and they're coming to the AMA and they're saying link, bro, yeah. Then we may decide to throw some more cash on the table. If they're quiet and just deposit their link and then leave, well, we might not be so inclined. At the end of the day, again, the goal is to bring all these tokens on in a form of staking that we can maintain over the lifetime of CoinMetro, which means staking and link gets you link. Or even something cool where staking and link gets you quant. Staking and link gets you something else. Why not? The more that we build out kind of a lending interface, both with margin and maybe collateralized loans, et cetera, which is also something that's reverberating in our minds, along with a few other things that I've already mentioned, one that I let slip a little earlier. Those things will allow us we'll be making revenue in multiple different assets, and that allows us then to get creative in how we remunerate with those assets, with things like staking. How can you hold quant? I did hold quant, actually. I had a decent amount of quant, and I made a good amount of money off of it. And so I did hold. I may buy back in. Look, at the end of it, some of the things that I hold because I want to hold them. Other things I will hold and trade. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Just like people might hold XCM, other people trade it. Other people trade it. At the end of the day, all markets need liquidity. And if everybody's just going to hold, that's not going to work. So we need people that trade. So yeah, I bought quant pretty low, and sold it pretty high. So I'm a happy camper. I like Quant. I think Quant has a great upside potential, and I think they will do great things. I think Gilbert and his team are doing great things. That doesn't mean though that I'm going to hold every asset that I think is doing great things. That's not how portfolio management works. And you can get to the point where you become over diversified. And that's also not a good thing. I like to have enough liquid assets on hand that I can get in and out of those assets and into other assets when needed. Doesn't mean cash. And let's be fair, Quant is not a liquid asset right now. Try to sell some Quant. Good luck. Now you can do it on CoinMetro. We have pretty good liquidity now. Try to do it anywhere else. Have at it. So it's difficult. It's difficult to buy it, and it's pretty difficult to sell it on some occasions. So that's what pulls me away just from being a more long-term holder right now. But that doesn't mean that won't change in the future. How many cryptos are you supporting by the end of 2002? Such as how many cryptos are you supporting by the end of, I guess that's 2021, right? Such as ADA, DOT, One Harmony. We will be supporting more, that's for sure. We will kick up listings in the coming future. DOT and ADA are definitely on the short list. One Harmony, I don't know, to be fair. But you will see more and more listings. But be aware that we like to be the gem exchange. We don't just want to list something to list it just because it has liquidity, volume, or people like it. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to list it. But those two are definitely on short lists currently. Company is in Talon because at the time when I established the company, I was looking for a place that had actual regulation, actual legislation passed in the country about the business I was getting into, which was crypto exchange. There was only two, really, Japan and Estonia. And Japan is really for the Japanese market. You go to Japan to conquer the Japanese market, not really to go global. And Estonia, while maybe not that well known at the time, obviously was well known in certain circles for being, I would say, innovative and being kind of at the forefront of technologies. It was the first country, for example, in the EU to have broadband internet. So not to mention all the tech unicorns that have come out of here at this point. We just had a new one, actually, new unicorn. We're up to 6 or 7 now. I can't remember. The point is that I came here because of legislation, and I think I made a good decision. So at the time, there were places with exemptions like Liechtenstein and Switzerland. Exemptions don't mean anything. Exemptions are short-term by definition, and I didn't want to look short-term. I wanted it to look long-term, and I wanted a country that I thought would grow with me and not try and stifle me at some point when I grew too big. Look at Switzerland's history, for example, with privacy and banking. Got to the point where it didn't make, that they got a bit of pressure and bye-bye privacy. When you talk about Liechtenstein, Liechtenstein is too small and I think too focused on Liechtenstein. And Gibraltar, same thing. So looking for, and Estonia is small, but Estonia, I think has, I think their appetite is bigger than their eyes, if that makes any sense. Why did you start CoinMetro? Maybe you have a short explanation. Greetings, Max, the young guy from your roadshow in Munich. Hey, Max. So yeah, why did I start CoinMetro? So I'll try to keep it short. I got 3 minutes, guys, because I got a meeting at 4 o'clock. So here we go. Short explanation. An elevator that's pretty slow, but elevator pitch. So I was in FX. I like FX, still do. I love numbers. I like dealing with numbers. I like dealing with people. I like trading, all that stuff. FX got to the point where it got toxic for me simply because everybody I talked to was a salesman in FX. No matter who I talked to, whether they were CEO, a CFO, a COO, the janitor at an FX company, everybody tried to sell me the same stuff. The crazy thing is everybody knew they were selling the same things, the same liquidity, the same tech, but they acted like it was new, different, and amazing. And everybody on the other side of the table, knowing that they were getting sold the same thing they had, acted like they didn't know. And the guy selling it acting like he didn't know that the other guy knew. And it just becomes monotonous. So I decided I wanted to do something different, didn't know what it was. I had been in crypto since 2011 on a personal level. I started to see the communities getting built up. I went to a few events. I felt like even competitors trying to help each other to kind of create the market and make something that could be better. Now, a lot of them were off on the wrong tangents and thinking that regulation was never going to come and da-da-da-da-da. And I obviously didn't have that same mindset. But I love the community aspect. I thought it would be amazing to create a company with thousands of people and just try to conquer the world. That's why CoinMetro. And then why, CoinMetro as just a business? Well, I saw a need. I still see the need. Retail crypto is underserved immensely. There's lots of exchanges, but they all suck. And most of them suck on many different levels. And just because they're big doesn't mean they suck. Doesn't mean they don't suck, sorry. And so, I think there's a lot of room for improvement, and we've already shown the world, I think, even though maybe not the whole world yet, that we can do a lot of improvement, and we already have. Great customer support. A lot of people snicker at that, but that is the cornerstone to any business that explodes. You absolutely need to treat your customers like number one. You don't really have customers anymore. You have investors, right? You have investors that are also your clients. And that means you need to treat them at a different level. These aren't just people that come in to pay a service and that's it. These are people that invest in your company, that grow your bottom line, and they should be remunerated not just with a good experience, but also with the ability to take part in the action in the company, and like our bond sale and our ICO. And in the future, we will absolutely do more where you can gain equity, even just by using our platform, gain ownership in the company. I think it's amazing. That's why CoinMetro, it's a short pitch. I have about 30 seconds to go. I'm going to try to get in one more question. I'm just going to scroll to the bottom. I'll take this one. It's good to see you support XRP. What's your thoughts with SEC lawsuit? Will XRP be forced to leave the US? So I'll answer this one quickly. So I support XRP simply because it is a lawsuit, a civil one, and there's been no judicial precedent. No judge has made a precedent, and no law has been set. No, nothing's been said to make XRP not to be tradable. Nothing. So why should I stop trading for it? I think they will lose many parts of that lawsuit. The good thing I think is that I don't think the judge is going to say XRP is a security. I think he's going to say that they sold it like a security. And that's going to mean that maybe Ripple has some big issues, and the CEO and COO have big issues, have to be they'll be disgorged by a massive amount of money. But XRP will probably still remain. What the price point will be, et cetera, after that, who knows? But until there's a judicial precedent or an actual official SEC announcement that this is now classified as a security, or this can no longer be traded on markets, in the US, then we're going to remain open. Yeah, as simple as that. One caveat to that is if liquidity dries up, then we have to make a business decision, because we don't want our clients getting slipped left, right, and center. So yeah, I'm gonna have to leave it there, guys. I'm 1 minute late for a meeting. I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much for coming here. Thank you very much for asking all your questions. Our team appreciates you as well. Everybody on the team appreciates you. It's Friday. It's almost the weekend. Spend time with friends and family. You're probably gonna have to do it virtually while you're on lockdown. Call them up on Zoom or some other non-spyware, and let them know that you're still alive, and let them know they're still alive. I don't know, bake some cookies and show, and then eat it in front of them. That's probably not a good thing. I don't know what you do, but do whatever you have to do to make sure that your loved ones and your friends know you still exist, and that they still exist. And of course, before you hang up, what you should do is just put a banner on the bottom of Zoom that says buy XCM. I think that would be the best way. We don't have to say it every time, because I'm sure your relatives at this point after 3 years are getting upset because you say that every time. So just put a background, get a green screen, buy XCM on the green screen. That should be good enough, I think. Subtle. It's subtle enough where I think people should notice. Anyway, guys, thank you. Tag me on Telegram at Kevin Murcko if you have a question. Tweet me on Twitter at Kevin Murcko if you have a question. See you guys next week, and see you on Telegram. I am there. Tag me. If you do tag me, I'll answer. Cheers.